Hello, hello, hello. I hope everyone is doing well today. Welcome to another episode of my podcast, Encouraging and Uplifting Men. This is Nathaniel Thomas Ford. Blessed to be here today. Blessed to see another day. I wanted to take the time. This is actually the first morning that I have gotten up to do on an episode, and I just want to share and let you guys know that I really take this very seriously, what I'm doing. I'm blessed to be able to do this. I'm blessed to be here. I'm blessed to be able to have a story and be able to share some insight on some things that is very near and dear to my heart. But it's great to be here. It's great to be here today. I like to give anything I do the same 100% everything that I got. It doesn't matter what I do. It can be something as small as, doing something for my dogs, my pets. And those of you who know me know that I have like a petting zoo. Me and my husband, from 3 dogs to turtles to fish. We have our plants. So we like being able to make our space and have the little ones running around and doing things. So I just like giving all that I have. I'm very intentional in the things that I do. I feel that as a people of today, there's not enough intentional things being done. And that leads me to this topic that I picked to discuss today. We live here in we relocated here in Columbus, Georgia, from Baltimore. Those who get to know me know that I'm one of those people that I like to keep my hand, my finger, my toes in a little bit of everything. And the topic I'm going to talk to you guys today about is, just voting. Voting. How important it is to vote. How important it is to be involved in the community that you live in. It's very easy to, get caught up in the rumor war, what's going on in life, in politics, in your own life, that you don't take the time to know who your elected officials are, and that you don't take the time to be actively involved in the voting process. Growing up in Alabama, not too far, like 30 miles south of Auburn, in a smaller town called Dadeville, Alabama, I got to see from my parents, my grandparents, my great-grandparents, the people in our community, how important voting was. And it was taught to me at a very young age of making a choice to be actively involved in the voting. And we know politicians are characters. They are gonna be there and spout out what they want you to hear. They're gonna tear down the other opponent, all of that stuff. But we have to be smart in this process. And I'm just gonna walk you through what I do, how I stay actively engaged, and I'm gonna tell you the grand scheme of things. Me being a business person for like the last 20 something years, let me tell you something. You got to have some people in the right place to help you to be able to get things passed, to help you to be able to get to have a seat at the table. Every city, town I have worked in, I was actively involved in like the community, in the chambers of commerce, knowing who they were, the council people. Because anytime you go anywhere and build something, you just can't go walk in a community and build something. You got to get on the ground and get to know the people, get to know the workers that you're going to be having work for you, get to know the ins and out of that area, so they would know you as not just a business wanting to make money in that area, or just somebody who wants to bring something to that area. You kind of want to know how things worked behind the scenes. You want to know who you need to reach to, or have a meeting with, or set up a meeting with, or lunch or breakfast, and get to know them as well as them get to know you. So for as a businessman, I always have been thrusted in politics. Now, I may not be the person, who's the campaign manager of the candidate. I may not be the largest contributor to that campaign or that candidate, but I know them and they know me well enough to be able to get some things moved behind the scenes. And those of you who understand politics know, I will never forget this. My grandfather, who raised me along with my mom, he said, boy, he said, you got a mouth and you got a head. He said, you need to be in Washington, D.C. This is my grandfather who said this. And my grandfather was an amazing man. And I'm not just saying that because he raised me, but he raised generations. He raised families, not just the 3 kids that he raised, 4 kids that he raised. He raised us, his grandkids, and was trying to help raise the great-grand. But my grandfather had no formal education, but he was smart. He worked for all the right people in our smaller town. When I say he worked, he was their landscaper, cleaning up, taking care of their yards and stuff like that. And he learned people, he watched people, he listened to people. But not having formal education, he taught me as a dark-skinned black man in Alabama how to move, how to get your point of views, how to get to be listened to, how to be a part of the decision-making process, or even how to be on the other side of those who make the decisions. Being in the right circle, sitting at the right table, working for the right people, or being in a relationship with them. He taught me that. That, to me, was one of the most valuable lessons he taught me, was to know who you need to reach out to get things happening. Because if we understand in this country, black and brown people are not, even in 2020, we still have to navigate through those waters and those processes to get there. Because living in the United States, I don't have to tell you what's going on. You live here, you know, you see, you feel the tension, you feel the brown paper bag theory still is in effect. I remember when I was in Washington, D.C., yeah, it was there. It was in effect. Jobs I got, the circles I was in, the conversations I was having, the tables I was at, I was allowed in those circles because of the way that I carried myself, the way that I looked. It didn't have anything to do with my background, my upbringing, my education, or anything. In knowing that, I learned coming from Alabama how to navigate my way through the things. I didn't like it. I'm going to tell you, I did not like it, but I learned how to navigate and know things before others know things, and be able to have a point of view, or be able to be asked, what do you think? Or be able to be on the ground breaking of things, working their way forward. But we have to understand, in this country, as people of color, as a black man growing up in Alabama and seeing and hearing the stories of Jim Crow, how they disenfranchised us to make sure that we didn't get to vote. Coming up with tests where if you couldn't read, you couldn't vote. And where I got to hear those that came before me tell how they had to teach each other how to read enough to be able to vote. Because we had to fight so hard to have the right to vote. And every way that was put in front of them, every challenge, oh, well, you made it over this hurdle, here's something else. Oh, well, you don't live in this zone, so you got to go 20 miles out your way to vote. Or, oh, well, you don't have any transportation to the voting booth, so the churches had to come together. The missionaries had to come together. Those who were just wanting people to vote had to caravan people to be able to go to the voting ballot, the voting place, to use the voting ballot, to vote. So in knowing that and hearing that, it taught me that I had to appreciate what I have, the power that I have in me to be able to pick and have a part in picking my elected officials. And it doesn't matter how small it is. It first starts in your local community. with those city council's office, with those mayor races, with those state attorney, excuse me, state secretary, which is very important because the state secretary in your area is the person who is going to have a hand and a control of all the voting in that area, in that state, in that city. So knowing who that person is, being a part of that process, knowing what your rights are, knowing what area you live in, what voting place you need to go to. Let's say last year you may went to this church and voted, or this YMCA building, they may have changed it to another location. But as a voter who is actively involved in the process, you need to know all of that. Because if you think the Secretary of State is going to send you something to Nathaniel Thomas Ford, who just moved from Baltimore to Columbus, that they're going to say, hey, Nathaniel, you need to go to this place right here to make sure you register as now living in Georgia and as Georgian, so you can be a part of these processes of these very tough races. They're not going to do that for you. You actually have to, as a citizen of your area, of your town, city, state, be a part of that. Find that information, get that information so you will know what you are able to do. But first, it comes from a place of just giving a care. You gotta first just want to give a shit. Really just give a shit. Because sitting here saying, oh, I'm not gonna vote for this person because they're this, and this. Oh, I'm not gonna vote for this person because they're right wing and they're this, and this. Oh, whatever. Be a part of the process, because last time I checked, these people still have to come to us and campaign and kiss our butts and pay millions of dollars to win these elections. Now, even though they win, you know and I know, things go the other way. What they said when they was running and what they are doing once they get elected and have served and are serving us, they kind of forget, what they said to get in office. But as a voter, that's what we need to hold them accountable. There's things that I look at today and I'm like, when did millionaires and billionaires start? I know they've always done it to get to control and have somewhat of a control of a narrative to affect their business and the way that they think. When did they get into office and start making us feel like we got to have them for us to exist, or we got to have them for us to have a room at the table, or we just got to have them, period? I think as voters, we have allowed a lot to happen with our elected officials, and we need to start ringing them in, holding them accountable, showing up at these meetings, showing up at these council meetings where there's 2 or 3 people out in the audience. We need to change that. We need to take back control of the narrative, especially when it comes to voting. Right now in Georgia, it's funny, I live here in Georgia, in Columbus, but I'm right here in Georgia, but Alabama, Phoenix City, Auburn area is like right here. So I'm on the cusp of 2 deep-rooted cities that have played, states that have played a huge part in the voting rights and the civil rights movement. I'm right here. I moved back here, me and my family, because we grew up here, we moved away, made our money, made our way, and we came back with a different perspective, living up north and seeing how things work, seeing how the big government, like I said, I lived in DC, I worked in DC. I got to see not just how politics work, I got to see it on the national stage, and I'm blessed to have had that. And I'm going to be honest with you, I vote my way that I vote. But I have been able to work with people that wasn't a part of my party. I believe in just bipartisan. I believe that we all have to be able to, as Americans, come together. You have your point of view, I have my point of view, you have your walk of life, I have my walk of life. Everything is not going to be as black and white as we expect for it to be. There's going to be some gray waters that you're going to have to learn how to work navigate your way through. There's going to be times when you want to sit down with a Republican Party member, a Democratic Party member, a Independent Party member, and be able to really harness things, the best of each of all. Because the last time I checked, America was still a melting pot of everything, of immigrants, those who came from different countries, those who were pulled from different countries to be here, those who were already here, those who came from Europe to inhabit this land and get control of it. We're still a melting pot. So we have to learn how to navigate these waters together. I may not like you over here, but you're still an American. I may not understand and believe in what you're doing as an American, but if we come together and work together and listen to each other, we can still be able to come up with something that can work best for all of us. I do believe in that. I do believe that when calm heads come together, there can be things that we can build and work on to help us as Americans, because the American spectrum has changed so differently. There's areas. I remember, I'm going to give you an example. I lived in Atlanta for like 15 years. Cobb County, you can Google the story of Cobb County, Georgia. Cobb County, Georgia has changed from when I lived there. So things don't stay the same if we don't allow them to. There are changes that need to happen. I'm going to tell you, there's a lot of laws that are on the book now that needs to change because society has changed. There are things now that we do now in 2022 that we could not do many years ago. There's a lot. So as time has changed, people have changed, laws need to change to help be able to govern and hold us all accountable. But those laws and those things cannot change until we have more people that is a true representation of what we have in our community. And we do not. One group of people cannot govern and think that it's going to be okay for all of the black and brown and all the other people that do not look like them and do not have the walk of life for them or the experience or a silver spoon in their mouth or was not born with blue-eyed blonde hair. You know, we all got to come together and be able to listen and work things out to get to these tough issues. These tough issues. And I find it very difficult where you have a millionaire sitting there and a billionaire telling people, oh, the economy is looking good. When was the last time you went to the grocery store and tried to buy $300 worth of grocery? How many different grocery stores did you have to go to? How many different neighborhoods did you have to go to? Because I'm just telling you what I have to deal with when me and my husband go and buy groceries. You have to go over here to get a little bit. You have to go over here to get a little bit. You have to go over here to get a little bit. It's hard to go into one store and be able to get everything that you need. It's just hard. I'm going to be honest with you. Next thing is, how, for you as a millionaire, gonna understand what somebody is struggling trying to make it off of $35,000, $45,000, $50,000, $60,000. And just for those of you who didn't know, if you're working and you make that amount of money, you are working poor. These are conversations we need to be having with candidates as an example that is that is running an office in Georgia as a senator for Raphael Warnock, for Herschel Walker. These are conversations and questions that need to be asked. Yeah, all of the stuff that's going on, the theatrics that are going on with, people with, abortions and, unwanted pregnancies and, and running as a more for the family kind of candidate. Yeah, I catch that. But there's some questions I need to be asked. How's a Georgian that is making $50,000 supposed to make it? These are questions you want to ask candidates such as running for governor Brian Kemp, the incumbent, and Stacey Abrams. I want to know what they think about that. I want to know what their point of view on that. I want them to be able to help navigate people. What are they going to do to help them get resources to be able to make it? When I say resources, I'm not sitting here talking about 9 times out of 10 food stamps and disability checks and all that. Those things are great, don't get me wrong. But what are you going to do to help make Georgia a little bit more affordable? When I'm talking about more affordable, let's talk about the prices of apartments in Georgia, in and outside of Atlanta. What are you going to do to help people be able to buy houses, keep houses, stay in the houses? What are we going to do about these school systems? These are questions that I want to ask. These are questions I'm looking at the candidates. When I interview candidates, I want to know how they voted, if they've been an incumbent. What are some things that they have voted and made decisions for while they're in office, while we elected them in the office last term? The new person, how do they feel about this? What is their background? What have they done in their private life, in their professional life to help get them to this point other than play football and being a Heisman Trophy winner? I want to know those kind of things. Or if you were the Secretary of State before you went into office, what did you do as Secretary of State? These are all questions that I like to ask. I dive deep and look into and investigate the candidate that I may be voting for or potentially on the ballot. Also, as a voter, I go and look at those little special things that they have. You know, when you're going on the ballot, you go and vote for the main candidates and the main races, and then the secondary, then the next one, then the next one, and then at the last they have like these 9, 10, or 11 little questions of these little paragraphs like this, a little fine print that ends up fucking us up when we don't read it and we just vote on it. I look at that shit and I read that shit and I take my time and I reread it again, but I study the ballot before I get there. That's something else I do. Because I want to know what they're going to ask me. Because we have to look at those little 9, 10, and 11 questions when we're voting for things in Georgia like roads and where taxes want to give and you want to donate to this party and all that stuff. We as Americans, we as citizens of this world have to do a better job of researching things on our own and not waiting for the news to let us know, or the newspaper, or Twitter, or Black Twitter, or Facebook to let us know. We need to do a better job of researching things and knowing what's going on and not getting caught up in all of these, this mudsliding and throwing and, pulling people down and all of that good stuff. Did someone knock on your door and ask you to vote for them? What did they give you on a pamphlet? Did they try to connect with you? Have you heard about them before they actually decide to run 3, 5, 6, 9 months or a year before they decide their candidacy? Was they doing the work? Were they invested in a part of the process beforehand? What was they doing as a business leader, as a person, before they decided to run for office? And then I look, this is just me, I'm sharing this with you guys about, I look at people that I can see me rocking with them, like sitting at their dinner table, or going to one of their functions, or having a conversation with them person to person. Because we do have to realize this. These candidates are people just like us. They are people just like us. Just because they have a few more rooms in their house, a few more clothes, bigger car, bigger house, they're still people. Just like us. And I want to challenge some of us to run for office. Because I get tired of seeing the same old, same old. I'm going to be honest with you. I get tired of seeing the same old, same old. Now, you can take a pig and clean that pig up and slap a Wall Street outfit on them, a good Brooks Brothers suit or dress for a female candidate. But I'm going to tell you something, still a pig. Still a pig. Still plays in his own crap. So we need to really understand what we're doing. We're putting these people in place and they're telling us, well, we can't do this. Oh, well, this is challenging. Oh, well, it was broken before I came in here. Really? You raised all that money and received all them donations and got elected to tell me this? Tell me something different. Show me something different. Let me see something different. Show me some grassroots stuff that you've done prior to you getting to office to help get more people registered to vote. College students, colleges should be doing drives where, something in political science and one of the classes, anything. If you go get voted and show you got your sticker and you voted, that's a good attendance for you. That's a paper for you or whatever. Tell me about your process of doing it. I remember things like that they did in college for me to help me when I was a young voter. My mom made it a big deal. Me turning 18 and voting in my first election, my mom made it a big deal for me. And it's still, as you see me smiling, it's still a big deal. She taught me how to research your people. Know what you get. Now, I'm going to tell you, a lot of them are wolves in sheep clothes. I'm going to be honest with you. But you need to still be able to get your point of view and get your things that are important to you passed. For not only just you, but your community. Like, let me give you an example. I live here in Columbus, which is a military Fort Benning is here. There's a lot of things that I see that are happening here that are good and bad, as I've lived anywhere. There are some things that are really important to me. Like, what are we going to do with the kids? When I say what are we going to do with the kids, what do we have for them in place for them? How's the job market in this area? Do we have enough services to help teach young people how to interview and get a good job? How to dress, how to answer those interview questions, how to negotiate a salary, how to look for an industry in this area that we live in so we can be able to help support them so they can be able to pay into what we have in this community. And me as a business person using my resources, what can I do to help teach the youth how to get out there and interview and hustles and get a good job so they can be able to take care of themselves and pay taxes and help our communities and be contributing as a young person other than being locked up in the court system, being caught up in the court system, locked up, going in and out, more productive members of society. That's what I'm thinking. And even in those processes, how can we make that a little bit more cleaner? Because, and I'm going to tell you, I had some life of crime in my life too. I've seen the way the system work, and having public defenders that actually care about what they do. And I understand they make what they make because they work for the public, but having lawyers and attorneys and judges that are not just stacking the book trying to get more black and brown people locked up in jail. Once again, that's somebody we voted in to put in to lock our young black and brown people up. Yeah. Once again, what can I do in that area? And not just what can I do, I'm challenging you guys. What can we do to help make it better, to help change the process? Because I hear these stories popping up of judges who was just locking black and brown people up just so they can get kickbacks for more people going to prison and jail. Because that's a business too, if you don't know. How can we get our churches more involved in the voting process? Every church that I was a member of thought and felt the same way I felt about election and politics. The main thing is to get counted. If you really want to know how you can make the difference, you have to go be counted. You have to go vote. Sitting at home and saying, you know something, they gonna do whatever. Okay, well, you just as much as the problem as the people who are out there doing it. Get involved, vote. And like I said, the churches that they were a part of and still a part of to this day, they said the main thing is not for me to stir you to go vote for a particular candidate. My job is to push you to go and vote. Push you not just to go and vote, push you to be involved in your community, because it's your community. If you want these candidates that I mentioned to give a damn about what's going on with you, start holding them accountable. Not just them. These are midterm elections that we got going on right now. People think, like, oh, I'm going to vote for the president. Okay, let me tell you something. That's so far down the damn road. You're talking about people in the United States, a whole amount of people. I'm sitting here talking about in your damn neighborhood. And I'm cussing because this is crazy to me. Oh, I vote for the president. Joe Biden, and who's president right now, no disrespect, Joe Biden ain't gonna be trying to sit here and tell me how I'm gonna sit here and impact Columbus and Phoenix City area. He's on a global scale. But the people that I've elected and that I'm a part of the process here, those council people, those mayors, the roads and stuff all jacked up and crazy. We need to start holding those people accountable and answering questions and yanking their asses out of office and putting somebody else in who's more of a forward thinker, builder, bringing more businesses in the community that's going to help keep jobs. Okay? We need to start looking small. When I say small, we need to start thinking about what's going around us. And picking some of people that look like you, think like you, understand what you're talking about. The crime in these areas. Holding these police chiefs and stuff accountable. And mayors. And city council. Because when they go home, I'm going to tell you, they go into their nice little gated community. And you sitting up there dealing with that pop, 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 pop in your neighborhood. They in their nice secluded places. I'm telling you, I know. They 3, 4, 5, 6,000 square foot home, and you sitting up here dealing with all this shooting up and robbing and stealing and all that going on. They not worried about that. But you living in it. So we just got to do more of a better job of understanding that these are just people just like us. And the way that I'm sitting here talking to you guys, this is the way I talk to them too. When I ask these questions, like, what the hell? Oh, you want my vote? Oh, you want me to stand in this picture with you? Because I don't like the way you've been voting. I don't like the way you moving. I'm seeing how you moving. And you moving more towards people in those gated communities than these kids that I see walking up and down the road or using public transportation. I seen how you voted for that last time. Instead of expanding it, you didn't even vote or you didn't even show up. So no, I'm not going to that dinner with you. No, I'm not taking that damn picture with you because you on some fuck shit. Yeah, that's how I talk to them. I say it to them just like that. I don't give a care. That's me. Like I said, I've gone from Alabama to DC. I'm gonna tell it like it is, the way I feel. No, I'm not voting for you, because when I sit here and look at your voting history and how you have voted in the last time you was in. Oh no, I'm not voting for you. You were more of the lobbyists. You and the lobbyists were like this. Big companies, big businesses, voting for them. No, you ain't thinking about me. And my brothers and sisters who are making 30, 40, 50, 60, under $75,000 a year. No, you don't give a damn. No, we put you in office. But you don't forget about that. No, not voting for you. But we definitely need to do more of a better job as voters, as people who are going through it on a daily basis, wondering how you're going to make the rent, how you're going to make your mortgage, how are you going to be able to take care of 1 child, 2 child, 3 child, and keep food on the table and make it to work, or work at a job where you see that there are not any other options for you in the area. Colleges, when they're not in, like the area I live in, I'm blessed to say that there's a college, a junior college, that funny that I graduated there. This is a satellite of that college, not even 10 minutes away from me. Columbus State is not that far away from me. If I want to go online, go online. Anyone. What I'm saying is, if you don't see better in your community, I challenge you to push to make it happen. Push to make those elected officials care and want to bring more attraction in that area. Because let me tell you something, everybody don't want to be in Atlanta. Everybody don't want to be in Washington, D.C. Everybody don't want to be in Montgomery or Birmingham or, L.A. or San Diego. Everybody don't want to be in those big cities. It's those smaller areas as well that people are living and exist, and are just as important in those big areas. And your views and your opinions, and as well as what you believe in, should be heard, should be carried out. These parties have changed so much. They have gotten so far away from what they started from. And that's okay, to be honest with you. But in the same token, you need to stay close to some of your core values that you had when you started. Like I said, I can work with anybody that has an open mind and an open heart and want to do better. I don't care what party you're a part of. Really don't. I've worked with anyone, everyone. I worked from people that, voted, didn't vote it, those who was actively voted, those were, sons of a or daughter or someone that was elected official, dynasties, all that. I don't care. I work with anybody. And I think we all need to have that opinion, that openness to be able to forge ahead. Because I'm going to tell you, these roads that we're going to go through in the future of this country is going to be tough. It's going to be hard because people are, and I'm just going to be honest with you, some people in this country are just buttholes. Yes, I'm saying that, buttholes. And until they get out of that I'm making up a word, that butthole way of thinking, we in this country, it is not going to be what it has been, that superpower. We have some amazing people in this country. Amazing people. But until we're able to sit down and open our hearts, open our minds, and be able to accept, understand, agree to disagree, move the freak on, how can we make this place better for all of us? Not just for all of us right here, right now, today. How can we make this better for our kids and our kids' kids for them? Because they are going to need that. They are going to need that. We are going to need that. And as you're looking at my shirt, Black History in the Making, yes. But I don't stand by myself. I stand with greatness of people that came before me and paved the way for me to be here, to be able to have this conversation with you guys, for me to be right here, able to be my authentic self. I'm somebody's dream. And I don't take that lightly. I am somebody's dream. I'm having conversations with you guys that my grandfather was not able to have. My mother was not able to have. I'm having those conversations with you guys. And I'm their dream. So I'm humbled to be able to share what I feel and what I think that we could do better. Because what I'm saying is things that we could do better, that we can be better at. Learning from what we went through from in the past. Honoring them that made the way for us to be able to do what we need to do today. But we as people, we got to turn this around. Elected officials, we don't owe you nothing. You made the choice to do what you're doing. It is a job. It is a work. It is a service. You asked to do this job of service. We are here to hold you accountable. And I challenge you guys, as well as I'm challenging myself, to put myself out there more and in their face. Because I get them. I'm telling you, I get them behind the back. Now, y'all don't see it. Y'all don't know it. But I tell you real quick. You ain't getting all of this in your damn picture. And we ain't having no conversation. And I'm not going to tell you the last time how you voted on this. That was very dear to me. That it was fucked up. And I'm going to keep my eye on you. Because I know your ass got to be elected again. And I don't forget stuff. We need to get on that. We need to get busy changing the trajectory of politics in this freaking country. Because it sucks. I'm going to tell you, it sucks. It sucks hard. I see the same thing. I hear the same lie from candidates to candidates to candidates. But we want great things. We want different results. But we got to be willing to hold these people accountable. And you just brushing me off is not going to be the answer. Because that's going to make me madder. I'm worse than any reporter that's out there today. Worse. Because I know the history. And I study people real good. And you sitting here saying, oh, this, oh, you're going to be this, you're going to do this, you're going to do this, you're going to do this. Well, let's look at what you've done the last 3-5 years. I don't care if you're an incumbent or you're a new candidate. You better have a plan that have us plan, that have us plan. I want to know what your 90 days in office going to look like. Your first 90 days. What you going to do? What you going to do different? Because I've lived in Baltimore and seen the corruptions. I've seen it. And I've called people out on it. You need to be in a jail cell somewhere for the shit that you've done. I'm telling you. Right there in front of a reporter getting interviews, you need to be arrested for the shit that you've done. The money that you've taken and have not done the job that you said that you were going to do, serve to do. Hold people accountable. That's the only way we're going to get better as a people. In these United States, in your community. Hold people accountable. If you don't like what they do, vote their asses out of office, put yourself in office. Because it seems like now the come up is running for office. Change it. It's up to us to change it. We can do it. Now I'm gonna go ahead and tell you, if y'all go in my inbox, I know my viewers, my community. Y'all go in my inbox and sitting there and push my head to run for office. I'm gonna tell you real quick, this is not what you want. This is not what you want. And I got a husband that got a, he deals with me enough on with you guys doing what I'm doing. This is not what you want in office. I'm gonna tell you real quick. I am not no play party. Don't let this smile fool you, because I'm gonna call it out and expose it and tell you who you need to look for and who voted which way and who didn't do what they need to do. But since y'all put me in this office, I'm gonna do it. But that's another conversation. If that's something God want me to do, that God had to give that to me, put that on my heart, whatever. Because I'm gonna tell you real quick, I'm sick of the foolery. I'm sick of the bull. I'm sick of the same old, same old. I want something different. I need something different. I need some people thinking different. I need people from some different walks of life in this stuff, in this political game. I'm talking all politics. I'm tired of seeing the same thing. Because when I go outside in my community, I don't see none of these people, these elected officials. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't see these people shopping at and when I lived in Atlanta, this is a little off the subject. No, it's not. It's on the subject. When I lived in Atlanta, I remember shopping in Kroger in the Cascade area. I lived not too far from that area. I would go to that Public and shop. Every now and then, there was people I would see that was local official. And I remember seeing John Lewis for the first time. I was just, I'm a guy from Alabama, a small town guy. So when I saw John Lewis, and for those of you who don't know, I sit down a lot, but I'm 6 feet tall. I'm a taller guy. And when I saw him, I immediately just turned into like this little boy. This little boy, like looking up to this man. And when he was alive, he was a short guy, very short guy, very docile, very sweet, very passionate, and we were I walked into the store and he was in the produce section and I saw him and it was like, oh my God, it was like seeing, I don't know, Cher, Barbara Streisand, somebody like that, it was him. And I went and got my little basket and tore my way over there to say hey to John Lewis. And I saw him and I said hey, and he spoke back. Why did he do that? I'm my mama's child. I talked to a tree. But he spoke back and I was like, oh my God. And I don't know if y'all do this sometime in my head, since my head is so big, in my other part of my head, I stepped back and said, oh my God, Nathaniel, you talking to John Lewis. John Lewis, Civil Rights Minister, John Lewis. And then I 3D'd out and I 3D'd back in, and he was just sitting there talking to me, and I was talking to him. We were just two bald-headed men talking, a color talk, and I was like, oh my God, I was keeping it together. And I didn't even think about politics or anything like that. Or I just wanted to say thank you. That's what I said to him. I was like, I just wanted to say thank you. And he was like, sure, bro. He was like, no. And he said, young man, thank you. I was like, thank you. Because you don't know, like, I had to go back on him. I was like, what you did, what you guys did, it was hard as hell, I'm sure. And still hard this day to think about, because I don't know if I could have done what he did, because, I got a mouth. I pop off. But I'm better now. I said, you stood there and you took that. You did that. You walked into the lion's mouth and did what you guys did. Not just that day, but every day up until that point and after that. And then your years of service to us, as a representative in Georgia, I was like, thank you. Because I know there were some conversations you wanted to say, some to have and say, and you didn't. But he did say a lot of stuff. That's what I liked about him, because he said a lot. He said a lot of stuff that I was thinking. I was like, why don't you just say shit? Or why don't you say, y'all motherfuckers need to get this shit together? Or y'all motherfuckers getting on my nerve? Or there's some crazy ass shit that we still sitting up here talking about 20, 30, 15 years, 75 years later after the fact. But when I met him, I was just so enamored that I was just like, just thank you. Thank you for what you did. And also another civil rights leader that I got to meet and know him personally, Hosea Williams, and see him with his overall on, and get to know him over time. I worked in a pharmacy, and he was one of my patients at the pharmacy, and I got to know him a little bit, and it was good. It was like I'm smiling, I'm cheesing, but those things, just connecting with that type of history, and oh my God, that did something to me. But to me, talking about what we're talking about now, that should let you know how I feel about the history, our history as a country, as a people, in our community, that those very courageous individuals made a choice, followed through, not just politically on stage, but in their community. They walked the walk and talked the talk. I love people like that. Those are my best kind of people. That, when you speak of Hosea Williams, you speak of this. When you speak of John Lewis, you speak of this. That greatness. I love it. What they gave to this country, and the fiber of black people and bald-headed men and people of colors and kings, it just does something to me. It does. And I just love being around greatness. But people think of greatness when you're like up here. No, I'm glad that I have the gift that I get to see it from the beginning with people as I get to meet them. And that leads me to another story. I'm going to share a story with you guys. I'm a good storyteller, as you see. I had the pleasure yesterday of being a part of I was invited by my bond sister, my soul sister. She invited me to go to a wine tasting with her, and I was like, okay. And I was actually on the phone with her when she was personally invited by one of the owners of this vineyard. Y'all, let me tell you. It was in, not too far from Stonecrest Mall, in Lithonia, Georgia. And those of you, I'm saying, you Google these names and all that stuff, because we're social media people. Yes, there's a vineyard in not too far from Stonecrest Mall. I think it was the Evan Mill Road exit. Went through the light. It took us a while to get there. We got there. And it is black owned. It is a black family that owns it. 3 sisters and a brother. And I got to meet and connect and talk to all of them. Because, that's me. I'm still just kind of smiling and feeling the way I'm feeling about it because the vineyard hasn't opened as of yet, but they did like I think a soft open yesterday. Well, the day before that, Friday, and one yesterday, and we went there. The event started at 7 o'clock, and we was there, for some hours. When I tell you, this 18 acres, yes, 18 acres, vineyard, black-owned family, called Arabian Mountains Vineyard. Arabian Mountain Vineyards. So that means it's on a mountain. When we got there, we were greeted, told where to park, golf cart in to the actual entrance of it. We got there early. It was gorgeous yesterday. It was like a little overcast, but gorgeous. When we pulled from the golf cart to the actual vineyard, oh my God, y'all! It was rolling hills up, gorgeous. If you are going to have a wedding, if you want to go glamping, if you want to have go see a party or a performer or amphitheater, prom, whatever, event, production studios, shoot videos, whatever you need to do, that is the place to go. The landscape, oh my God, the science that they use to get the grapes there and the palm trees and the layouts, oh my God, it was this family's dream. And these siblings came together, bought into it, and made it come to fruition. They were so humble. They were such some servants that they walked us through everything. And I'm going to tell you, it was the celebrity tour, I would say, that we got. Because I was with a celebrity. I'm not giving no names. But when I tell you it was everything, it was elegant, classy, grown, sexy. The people were amazing, different walks of life. It was black excellent at its finest. Any event that I'm gonna have in Atlanta, 2 hours away from me, well, about an hour and a half, 2 hours, it's gonna be there. I'm telling y'all, it's gonna be there. Because it gave me, I've seen some vineyards in California. It took Chateau Alon and pulled all of that stuff and made it there. And to see black and brown people doing it, I'm gonna tell y'all, doing anything is hard. But if you really want to find out who's for you, who's with you, and who's gonna stand with you and rock with you, start something. Start a business. Start a podcast. Build a vineyard. Whatever. You're gonna see who's there for you. You're gonna find those people out. Fans, families, all that. You're gonna find them out. Because you're gonna find out you're gonna be by yourself doing it. And there's gonna be people not looking like you that's gonna help you. But when I tell you, I went to Arabian Mountain Vineyard, and for me to be talking about it, let y'all know that it was everything. It was everything. It gave me everything. And to connect with the family and love on them and them love back on me, and they were like, oh my God, like, wow. I was like, y'all did this. Y'all did this. Y'all, this is amazing. The wine itself was incredible. I couldn't get too, because and those of you who have been to a wine tasting, you can't get too knocked back now. But I wanted to be in the moment. I wanted to enjoy it. I wanted to hug on them, get to know them, get to know their story. Because I told them, I said, y'all, I'm gonna shout y'all out. But I'm gonna do more than shout y'all out. We're gonna stay in contact. This is amazing. Because to have something like that and not have to go to Chateau Lawn, not have to go to, California, to be in Georgia and have a vineyard here and it's black owned, y'all, I'm telling you, they gonna see me some more. They totally gonna see me more. So the family, I love you guys. If you guys are listening, thank you for opening your ministry, your love, your gem, your seed open to us so we can experience that. And I want you guys to Google them, Arabian Mountain Vineyard, check it out. But I'm gonna tell you, don't come up there with no craziness. Let's keep it classy, let's keep it sexy, because they're gonna tell you real quick. And you listen to me. Keep it sexy now. Keep it classy. Keep it looking good, because I want to see this place. I want to see this ministry grow. To see what they have went through and got to this point, truly amazing. I want to see it around many more years. Many more years. It was incredible. So that's what I did yesterday. And I baked banana nut bread. I gotta break some more too. It kind of went kind of fast. So yeah. So that's been my weekend so far. So family, in recapping, if you want to change what you see in front of you, if you want to empower people, if you want to go up against the status quo, if you want to color a picture that is a representation in your mind and your dreams of what it should be, it starts with us. It starts with us. We got to change that. We can't expect Stacey Abrams, Brian Kemp, Raphael Warnock, Herschel Walker to change what we want to change. They're only a servant that we're putting in. We got to help with the fight. We got to help them change what we want Georgia to be, what we want America to be. But we got to be willing to do the work. We got to be coming from a place of love and gratitude. Because the last time I checked, every race that is under this sun go to the bathroom and do the same thing. Put on their pants one leg at a time. Can only chew their food one way. And when you cut them, they bleed. So there's nobody that walks this earth above anybody. Nobody. Nobody on this earth got up on the cross and died for me and you. I only know one person. And he sits high and looks low. Stay encouraged. Take care of yourselves. Know I love you. Inbox me. Subscribe, like, view, share my content. Put it out there. You will see it on all social media platforms. Take care of yourselves. As I always say, do more than just to see it and exist. Be a blessing. Encourage, love. Take care of yourselves. I love you.